fantastic. De-stress and depressurize. We don't want you stressing over stuff you haven't been able to achieve in the first half of the year. Hey, no pressure. You can still do it. Remember, life is not an unhealthy competitive race. So relax. You've got this. We're rooting for you. So we'll be here cheering you on from the sidelines every time you tune into High Impact Radio 102.1 FM. There's exciting gifts to be won, great music to be enjoyed, and laughter to be shared. So let's hold hands and jump into June together.
Hey, High Impact.
Hi, how may I help you?
So I have chess game with my friend later on today. When is the best time to play chess game?
I guess you're bored. Usually in the evening, but definitely before you are too tired. My very best chess, of course, is generally played at the times when I'm winning, unless my opponent decides to take a bow.
I'm definitely not taking a bow. Thank you.
I hope you win.
Hey, High Impact.
Hi, how may I help you?
Who is the fastest man in the world?
That's very simple. It's Usain Bolt. He is the fastest runner on the planet, setting the world record for the shortest 100 meters sprint time of 9. Hi, how may I help you?
Who is the shortest basketball player in the world?
I like your curiosity. I'll tell you. Muggsy Bogues is the shortest player in the National Basketball Association history, listed at 5 feet 3 inches tall. He was drafted 12th overall by the Washington Bullets in 1987.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
I'm glad you asked.
Hey, Impact.
Hi, how may I help you?
I've been curious. Who exactly is the youngest swimmer?
World Championships history. Tarek has been swimming competitively since the age of 4.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I'm glad I wowed you.
Hey, High Impact.
Hi, how may I help you?
Which club is the first to win Champions League?
That's very easy. Real Madrid. The first Champions League was won by Real Madrid during the 1955 and 1956 season.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
You're listening to Sports in a Jiffy on High Impact Radio 102.1 FM Lagos.
Sports in a Jiffy is live on your radio, Impact Radio 102.1 FM. And here is the second installment of the show for this week, Tuesday, today, 9th day in the month of June, year 2026. Here to serve the very best of stories currently making the rounds in the ever exciting, ever dynamic, and sometimes controversial world of sport. Guys, it's just a couple of hours before the start of the FIFA World Cup 2026. Ever pumped, super jacked up for this particular one because it's happening right there in the United States, Canada, and also Mexico. Well, for a lot of Nigerian fans, if you're following me right about now, well, maybe a bit of heartbreak for Nigerian fans because, yes, they will not be able to see their darling football team play on the biggest stage of football. Talk about a lot of history, a lot of credit to the Super Eagles of Nigeria. The most wins by an African nation at the World Cup. The number of goals, the highest number of goals by an African nation at the FIFA World Cup. And even the highest number of appearances by an African nation at the FIFA World Cup. All of this is not going to amount to anything for the Super Eagles of Nigeria this year. Of course, we wait for the next one in 2034, if that's enough. I woke up this morning and the first message I saw on my phone was someone talking about Coach Finidi George. And look here, he's not even doing any justice to that. Well, I'm not supposed to relay that message from that person live on radio, but you can tell that people are getting more hot right now. This is that time where people are now saying, look here, whatever it's okay. Let's leave that story. We'll talk about the Super Falcons as well. Yesterday, they still stormed the Senegalese ladies once again right there in the Kennel, and that's the second leg of the double-legged friendly that they played against the Senegalese ladies. Ended favor of the Super Falcons once again. Joy Omewa and the ladies who just left Nottingham Forest ladies, and also Asisa Toshala are both getting on the score sheet for the Super Falcons of Nigeria. Well, we hope that they are going to take this momentum into the Women's African Cup of Nations come next month, July. And also, don't forget that that's going to be like their preparatory match or the qualifiers for the FIFA World Cup that's going to be staged next year, 2027. A lot at stake for the Super Falcons, because I'm also hearing that they'll be playing against Comoros in the qualifiers for the Olympics in Los Angeles in 2028. So plenty of thoughts concerning football on the home front on the show this morning, as well as other sports, and of course the FIFA World Cup, talk of the town right now, which is going to be started in a couple of hours away from now. Super pumped, super jacked up for that particular one. Talk about the world of basketball, where the New York Knicks are still up against the San Antonio Spurs. I will give you the result of the match that was played. We are now preparing for Game 3 of that particular one. Your Deji Ajibo is my name. Absolute honor to be your host on the show this morning. And trust me, I'm not doing this all alone. I've got Adeni, your Bafemi Falano, who together will be relaying all of these stories to you. 72 fast, a lot of facts. I'll be making it compact for listening pleasure. Welcome to the show this morning, Adeni.
Well, it's a pleasure to be on the show again this beautiful Tuesday morning in the city of Lagos. It's raining, by the way.
Cozy and collected morning.
This is the time that, you tweet the weather for 2. But then again, the weather for 2.
Do people still do weather for 2?
It consists of me and you in the studio right now, serving the listeners.
Perfect weather it is.
Yeah, exactly. Serving the listeners sport, a lot of sport, a lot to talk about in the world of sport. The FIFA World Cup. Well, by the way, a lot of controversy around that particular one. Controversial, situations over there, in the United States of America, especially. And also on the home front, the Falcons again doing what they know how to do best, dominating the African scene against the Ghanaian ladies, and also Senegalese. I beg your pardon. And shout out to Connection Army, by the way, always providing the Kenneth Stadium for everyone. I
feel like it's the Nigerians Morocco.
Yeah,
he
is looking like that, but then again, we don't know the arrangement they have with the Nigerian Football Federation or the Nigerian government, as the case may be, because you cannot be giving out such facility. There are two. Wasn't
more like last? It's always at their beck and call.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, I was there with my football club, Imperial Football Club, when they had the under-17 open trials for football players. And shout out to the Nigerian Football Federation for handling handing over the under-17 to people that quote and unquote knows how to handle
both the under-17 and the under-20 team.
Yes, and it was a good one. It was a good outing, and of course the Kenneth Stadium was used again as the place to select those boys. So kudos to Honorable Coalition Ahmed for providing such facility. One, I can call him maybe the biggest thing when it comes to sports in Nigeria, in my own opinion. Football in this part of the world. In this part of the world. So it's going to be an entertaining show for our listeners this morning.
Most definitely an entertaining show for our listeners this morning. So let's get straight into it. Like I mentioned, don't forget that the FIFA World Cup is upon us. You don't want to say anything without talking about the FIFA World Cup. But before we go into that, let's start with us coming through from the home front, because I always tell you that charity begins from home. Let's start with us coming through from the Nigerian Women Football League, the Super 6, which is currently on the way. Don't forget that the Super 6 is like the season's finale, where the champions is going to be crowned after playing in different conferences. They come together and they play the Super 6. This particular one is holding right there in Port Harcourt, that's in Rivers State. And Edo Queens of Benin yesterday defeated FC Robo Queens 4-2 in the second game of the Super 6. Edo, don't forget that they lost their opening game 1-0 against the National Amazons, but then they now have to beat FC Robo to stay in contention for the trophy. However, FC Robo Queens most definitely also were winners in their own game yesterday too, and they will be going into the third game looking to also consolidate on the result that they've garnered so far this particular one. Don't forget that the winner of the Super 6 is not just going to be crowned the champions of the NWFL, but also going to be representing Nigeria in the Women's African Champions League.
And it's a very good one, and that tells you one thing, that the noise, the support that we want for our football. Is not just based on men football alone. The women are also getting the tractions that they need. And a lot of clubs are doing their best to take care of this lady. So I think in the month of March thereabout or April, I was in Bayelsa again with my football club for a scouting tournament there in Bayelsa. And Ibom Angels. They played against
Ibom Angels.
They played against Bayelsa
Queens.
They played against Bayelsa Queens. And while I was in the market at night, I saw the Ibom Angels in a team making sure that the girls were well taken care of, and I was like, oh, nice. I mean, it's something that you see with the men's game. After the game, maybe in the evening, the guys take a stroll, take a stroll just to feel the city that they just played in right now. And that was what happened, with the Ibom Angels. So it was a very, very good game, and I saw quality football from them. So that tells you something that the women's football game is getting the support it needs now. But we can only just do better. We can only just do better. And I hope that this Super 6, shows the administrators a lot of things that they need to correct and a lot of things that they need to work on, so that by next season we have a much more better end of the season finale like we are getting right now.
Most definitely, we look forward to that particular. We already talked about the Super Falcons of Nigeria. Not to flog the issue too much, we go straight into other stories. Our top story coming through from this one is that the federal government will now be looking to immortalize coach Stephen Okechukwu Keshi 10 years after his demise. It's been said that 10 years after his death, the name of the former Super Eagles coach Stephen Keshi will now be inscribed on the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs Sport Diplomacy Wall of Fame in recognition of his contribution to Nigerian football. If you remember very well, was the former Super Eagles captain. Also, he coached the Super Eagles of Nigeria to winning the AFCON title back then in 2013. But then it's finally happening.
Yeah, it's finally happening. Already he has a stadium named after him.
Yeah, Keshi
Stadium. And well, I think if we're talking about football in Nigeria, you cannot take away the impact of Stephen Keshi. One of the few players that captained their team to a tournament, to winning a tournament, and also led the team again, to winning a tournament.
The only one to ever do that.
Exactly. So it's a very, very good one. Even when you're talking about African football in general, Stephen Keshi's name will definitely be up there, in the history book. So I think it's long overdue that something like this is happening. Maybe having a statue of him, maybe just maybe. I mean, some of our so-called monumental stadium, they are nowhere to be found now. Abuja, I don't know what they are doing with Abuja. Even the Lagos State-owned at National Stadium, Surulere, I don't know what they are doing about that one.
Well, we are hearing that some of these things would be worked on in the coming days.
We've been hearing that for the past 5-6 years. So
it looks like the sports commissioner have been serious.
Let's see what Honorable Shehu Diko will be able to achieve. But then again, if the National Stadium in Surulere can be renovated and get back on its feet, maybe, I'm just saying, maybe a statue of Stephen Keshi
it's not going to be a bad
can
idea.
be erected, just at the entrance of the stadium. But it's long overdue that he is getting the recognition that he deserves.
All right, moving on from that particular story right now, still taking more talks coming through from other sports on the show. This one, let's get that straight to Europe. I will start from the world of basketball. So we go back to the world of football and we talk about everything that you need to hear and learn right about now. The San Antonio Spurs have finally gave the NBA Finals the response everyone has been waiting for. Because yes, they dropped the first 2 games of the series, but the Spurs have now bounced back with a 115 to 111 victory over the New York Knicks in Game 3, cutting the series to 2-1. Imagine if I was going to 3-0 by this morning, then maybe the talk would have been different. Because by 4-0, we know that the game is ended already. But now they've given themselves a lifeline going into the next game. Victor Wembanyama leading the way with 2 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals and 3 blocks in another outstanding performance for the San Antonio Spurs.
I mean, the last time I was on the show I spoke about the fact that if San Antonio Spurs, if they were going to have any chance of beating New York Knicks,
then Victor
has to turn up. He really has to turn up. And even though he did that in the first game and of course in the second game, probably the supporting cast were not, up to par, and they didn't come to the party that day. And that is what we've been saying with New York Knicks. Every other players, for New York Knicks have been turning up. I've forgotten their staff.
Jalen Brunson.
Jalen Brunson has been leading the pack for New York Knicks, but every other players have been putting in their own quota. But for San Antonio Sport, if Victor doesn't turn up, the rest probably, even if when Victor turns up, the rest doesn't pull their weight the way together. And but in this game, 1-1-5 to 1-1-1, that tells you it was a very, very close
match,
close match between both teams. But San Antonio Sports knew that if they don't get this game 3,
going into game 4,
it's long gone. And coming off the back of I think 12 or 13 straight victory for New York Knicks.
Yes. So that is 14.
Was the last one 14? I think this was
before the series started. They were on 12.
Yeah. So they've won 2 so that's 14 straight victories for them. Yeah. And I feel that this victory for San Antonio Sport could go a long way in damaging the confidence of New York Knicks.
As it is right now, it feels like it has changed the board.
So maybe New York Knicks will now feel like maybe we are not invisible after all.
After all, so we need to do better.
Yeah, and maybe this will also spur San Antonio Spurs on.
I mean, they did the same thing.
So they'll probably make them feel like they're not invisible. They're beatable.
We can match them.
So why can't we do that? And don't let us forget, in their conference finals also, San Antonio Spurs lost their first 2 games.
Yes, and they had to come back.
They had to come back. They did it
against the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah, they had to do it the hard
2-2, 3-3.
So they had to do it the hard way. So maybe now. But probably they derive pleasure from doing it the hard way, and maybe that is what we are going to witness again.
Well, if I'm talking about the NBA finals that happened last night, let's also talk about the U.S. President Donald Trump that was also booed at this stadium yesterday. He was being booed at the basketball court, and it's been said that that particular venue has hosted its first final since 1999. But Donald Trump getting booed is making the headlines this morning.
Well, it tells you something that a lot is happening in the United States of America. I won't be surprised if what we saw at the basketball court yesterday is it's coming from what is actually happening in the world of football. Because a lot is happening right now.
We'll get there. I mean, from the referee being denied visa.
Yeah, FIFA is getting his sticks. Donald Trump is getting his own stick, with his own immigration policy. A lot is happening. Also, United States of America, they are saying that we not send you this war where you fight with Iran. I don't know why you did, but then again, it's expected. And the difference between that particular country and a country of particular concern is that they can boo the president over there.
And close country.
They will not close that basketball court.
Yeah, I mean the game will still hold.
But in this particular in this particular country that I'm talking about, if you boo your president, be rest assured that they will fish you out.
Yeah.
And if you're not careful, they might close that basketball court. But then again, I mean, freedom of speech in that particular country.
Yeah.
So I think the people are making their displeasure known to the president. And what better way to make it known? You've come to our basketball court. You've come to where we enjoy our game. You are the president of the country, no wahala. But we'll let you know that.
I mean, how do you explain that he's the first president to attend an NBA finals and he's getting booed instead of getting celebrated? So just like you mentioned, it means that there are some underlying issues within the country that the citizens are not pleased with.
He probably did it for the optics, and I've just so everybody can say, the president came to watch it. But they are telling him that, bro, we don't give
a damn
about you coming here. We don't like what you're doing. We'll make it known to you that we don't like what you're doing.
Because I would have imagined what the citizens would have gone through. You know, the president is coming to the basketball court. So it means that more stricter measures, more restrictions for the ticket a normal course I will go to and I'll just click my ticket, scan my ticket and go in.
A lot of things, a lot of security measures.
Yeah, so possibly that's the reason why some of the citizens will be like, oh, look, why are you even here? Why are you disturbing our peace?
But Barack Obama goes to basketball games here and there, basketball court, even college basketball court, and I mean it's always cool, it's always fine. That tells you the difference between both United States of America president.
Okay.
That tells you a lot.
All right, let's move on from that story right about now. Let's quickly talk a little bit about the world of tennis before we go straight into the world of football. It's now been said that Chana Marias is saying that the Queen should show more respect to defending champion after she had to go through qualifying to reach the main draw. Don't forget that just as we wrapped up in the world of Roland Garros, now we are now going into the green season, the grass court season, which Wimbledon is going to be start of that. But before the Wimbledon, we'll see other ATP and also 1,000 events that will be happening. So the first one is going to be the Queen's tournament, which is going to be happening just a couple of days from now. It's now been said that the German, who is age 37, became the first woman singles champion at the London Club for 52 years when she beat 8th seed Amanda Anisimova in last year's final as a qualifier. But then a finalist, a winner, is now made to play the qualifiers once again.
Well, you can't blame the organizers. What is our current ranking right now? Maybe that is where we should start from. And I also know that Serena Williams said there's a report she's coming out of retirement to play, at the Queens also. And I think she's also going to be starting from the qualifier.
Well, for her now, she's saying that as a defending champion, she's
get a
meant
point.
to possibly just go through maybe as a wild card or just go through into
I
the
get
main
a
draws.
point, and
But
I get a
she's made
point.
to play, she's made to play 2 qualifying matches. Why her companies are 4 lower ranked British players were awarded wild cards.
Yeah, I think she has a fair point, by saying that. But then again, it's the rules. The organizers have decided that this is the way.
In the world.
Yeah, this is the way we want to play our game. But I think I want to tilt towards her at this particular point. She's 52nd in the world, the defending champion. I think she should have just been allowed, to enter the tournament proper and not play qualifying game. And at the least they could have done is probably issue her a white card, pass entering into the tournament. So I think I get a point. I hope the tournament itself doesn't come with a lot of controversy.
Just like you had it with Roland Garros.
Exactly. So, but then again, I'm looking forward. I'm particularly concerned about Serena Williams. I want to see
how far she's going to go.
I want to see what. I mean, she hasn't played competitive tennis in over
4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years. Let's see what she can do. Let's see what she can do at the tournament.
We're most definitely looking forward to that. All right, let's go straight into the world of football on the show this morning. A couple of friendlies have been played left, right, and center, but it's now about time for the real deal. 2 days, about 48 hours to the start of the FIFA World Cup right there in USA, Canada, and also Mexico. Before we go into that, let's talk about the friendlies that have been played. Yesterday night, we saw the likes of Colombia up against Jordan. Netherlands were 2-1 winners over Uzbekistan. France were 3-1 winners over Northern Ireland. We also saw the game between Sri Lanka and also Bhutan. There's Mauritania up against Niger. Later tonight, we will see the Super Eagles of Nigeria up against the guys from Portugal in that particular game that we play right there in Portugal. Well, a lot of talks are currently underway regarding that one. I mean, it's the Portugal Federation that are actually sponsoring, that particular friendly.
And I don't they go World Cup now.
All right, let's quickly talk about the Super Eagles of Nigeria before we go straight into other football talks. I mean, the boys are playing against the Portuguese national team today in preparation. I mean, the Portuguese team are preparing for the World Cup while we are preparing for the AFCON next month.
Yeah, well, it's a good one. At least
AFCON qualifies in September. I beg your pardon.
Yeah, it's a good one. At least we are getting a grade A, team to play against. And just like I said on the show yesterday, Eric Chell is trying his possible best to get his hand on some of the best talents that we have, all across the world. From Scotland to England, Premier League Championship, to Czech Republic to Portugal. And I like the fact that we have a very young and exciting crop of players. That Eric Chell is trying to work with. I hope they allow him. Then again, I've always been crying out that they should allow him the free hand, to pick the boys that he wants to pick, the boys he wants to work with. They shouldn't impose players on him. And I think we are getting, something like that, with the Super Eagles. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to today's game. Are we going to be able to get, victory against Portugal? That is left to be seen. But then again, I think some of these teams that are playing at the World Cup, they're careful the way they play.
I mean, we've seen a couple of injuries already, and they're so gory because you.
But then again, I don't think it will be an easy game for Portugal, in today's game against the Super Eagles of Nigeria. I'm very sure the boys they're fired up. They're ready to give their all today. And hopefully,
talk about the boys being fired up. Talk about Alexander Iwobi will be making his 100th appearance for the Super Eagles of Nigeria today. You can say that he's like the highest, capped player in the Eagles camp right
currently,
now.
Yeah, and I think I hope they've seen the way teams have been, giving their players award 100 caps. But I hope the Super Eagles. I hope the Nigerian Football Federation, I hope they do that. I mean, you understand what I'm saying. Once a player makes 100 cap, they always present them with a jersey with number 100, with the number 100 on it. I hope they do that today. I hope they do that. I don't need to teach them that job. But then again, I hope they do that, which is a very, very commendable one from Alex Iwobi. Off the back of, he played for Arsenal. There were reports that it's because he was playing for Arsenal. That was why he was being called to the team. He went to Everton. He's now playing for Fulham. But then again, whenever it comes to the Super Eagles,
he's always turning up.
But then again, Iwobi is a player that has divided opinions. Has divided opinions. From Super Eagles fans, there are some that probably feel that he's not doing.
He's not really worth it.
There are some that feel that he's doing well enough. There are some that he is there off the back of being the cousin of JJ Okocha. And I've seen talks where people have said, are you sure this person is related to Okocha at all? Because nobody will Okocha
because he has a bit of off days sometimes.
Yeah, but then again, that is football for you. That is football for you.
It's not always
I think he has been able, in the past couple of games, he has been able to, Rachel has been able to work out a position for Alex Iwobi, and he has performed really well. So he's one of those players that when called upon, you always see him deliver. He doesn't get to camp late, always giving his 100 for the national team. So congratulations for him on other games. Hopefully, it's end up being a victorious one today when we play against Portugal.
All right, moving on from that particular story right now, let's go straight into the World Cup talks properly on the show. Let's start with talks about the best referee from the African soil. That's the Somalian referee, Omar Atan, who was said to become the first Somali to ref at the World Cup finals, being dropped from the list of officials after he was denied entry. It's been said that this guy had to travel all the way from Somali to Kenya, from Kenya to Turkey, and then from Turkey to the United States. It took a bit of, should I call it democratic conversations before he even got the visa. And then after even getting the visa, he got to the US and he was denied entry.
So I think that will be resolved at the end of the day. Probably some low-level immigration officer was the one, or probably the one that denied.
You think he will still be part of the World Cup?
I think it will be resolved at the end of the day. And this is a big shame on FIFA. This is a big shame on FIFA.
Why FIFA are not the United States?
Okay, thank you.
Because at the last World Cup, there were a couple of talks about human rights in Qatar, but what we are seeing in the US is
why I said FIFA is because this country, or these countries rather, and you know what is obtainable in the United States of America. You know that there are some countries that have been blacklisted from entering the United States of America. I don't know how. I don't know what they want to do. Countries like Iran, Iraq, Somalia, they have been. The immigration issues that they have with the United States of America. The United States of America has issues with so many countries, and you still went ahead. You decided to award the hosting right of the World Cup to them. All well and good. I don't know, when you gave them the hosting right, were you expecting that all these countries were not going to qualify? It's a FIFA World Cup. You know that countries will participate. And whether we like it or not, the Iranian national team is one of the strongest when it comes to Asia. So you expected that one way or the other they were going to find their way in the tournament. The World Cup. Senegal will probably qualify. Same thing can be said about Ivory Coast, where some of their fans have been, there are visa restrictions for fans, and that is because
I wonder what their Congo fans are going to go through.
Exactly. When I heard about the Côte d'Ivoire and Senegal, I read about both countries, and I read that some of their citizens that were given visiting visas overstayed their welcome, overstayed their visit time. I beg your pardon.
At that time,
and that was why United States of America put restrictions on their visa. You know the issue between United States of America and Iran. And you know USA will be careful the people they allow into their country. From Iran. Even the players, their officials were screened. Thoroughly screened. Thoroughly screened. It got to a stage that it became too much, and Iran had to get a base in Mexico. So that tells you that there's a lot of geopolitical war, going on in the world. And so,
even the ones in Mexico have had to change base like 2 times, 3 times already.
And so you can't take away politics from football. Politics will always come, into football, whether we like it or not. As a matter of fact, there are reports that when they were doing their dinner just before the player left, for the World Cup, where they were having the dinner, the banquet, some people were chanting, "Death to America, death to America." So things like this will always happen. It will always happen. So I think FIFA should have known, or they should have prepared for this. But then again, Gianni Infantino came out and said he's speaking to Donald Trump, and they're going to be relaxing some of the restrictions when it comes to visas for fans to come in, for clubs to come, for teams to come in. But then again, you can't fault. I think they were not able to come to an agreement, or maybe Gianni Infantino was just,
saying it to appease.
Quote unquote, was just boboing us. The way we say in Nigeria, just a bobo us.
Give us bobo.
So maybe that was what was happening. So in the case of this Somali referee, he is the best referee in Africa.
Yeah, he was awarded that during the last AFCON.
Yeah, he's the best referee in Africa. But then again, you understand what is happening with Somalia. Somalia is one of the countries that, if you're coming from that particular country, you have to
already blacklisted.
Exactly. So, but then again, a special waiver should have been given to the referee. Why did you issue him visa in the first place if you are not going to allow him to enter the country? He went from Somali to Kenya, from Kenya to Turkey, then from Turkey. You know how many hours it took. You know the stress. You know the money he paid, and now you're telling him you can't enter the country. And if that is the case, FIFA should have found a way to schedule him for games in Canada and Mexico.
I don't think that's possible. That's my point. I know we're going to get to that point. But how do you allow him just ref matches played in Canada and Mexico alone?
It's something that FIFA can do. If you know that they are not going to allow this guy into this country.
From my own understanding, I know that before tournaments, officials, and other persons will be camped in a place, will be in a base before the tournament. And I'm sure that base is going to be in the United States. So which means that all of the pre-World Cup trainings, the sessions that they will be having before the World Cup is going to be missing, or they will be having a special training for him in Canada or in Mexico.
That is what I don't know. But then again,
he has to be there because I know that the base is in Florida.
Yeah, the base is in Florida.
So what then happens to him? He's going to be missing out of that training and the preparations.
So that once again, that is why I say I still fought FIFA. There's no way I'm going to fight the United States of America. I mean, you are the event planner.
So don't you think that because of this World Cup, a couple of things should have been relieved? A couple of laws, rules.
That was why I said maybe Gianni Infantino was just boboing us. But I mean, he came out and he said, yeah, he's speaking to the United States government, Donald Trump. I mean, we've seen a couple of videos and pictures of him with Donald Trump, and try to relax some of the measures that have been put in place, for countries that have been blacklisted, blah, 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 blah. I feel that he didn't do enough. FIFA didn't do enough, to help the cause of some of these countries. What have you? So I get the angle of restricting fans, because if fans are coming from Iran, what is the probability that
they will not come and cause an upset and uproar during the games?
Exactly. And so, but officials, football players, coaches, referees, there should be a special, there should be a waiver for this set of people. And I think that is where FIFA definitely dropped the ball. They dropped the ball big time on this particular one, especially with the case of the referee. It's a big slap. It's a big slap on.
I mean, let's take away the fact that he's even an African. I mean, this just goes to show that we should be expecting, a couple of news that are not going to be all that pleasant to the ears.
I don't even want to look at it from the angle of being an African referee. It can be, what if the best referee in Asia is from Iran? Or what if the best referee in Europe is from Russia? So I don't know whether you're getting the point that I'm making. So that is the point that I'm making. I'm very sure if Nigeria had qualified, probably some of our fans would also would have been restricted, from entering the United States of America. But it's just what it is. I hope, but then again, I don't think it's going to happen. But I hope that the stadium don't become empty because of some of the restrictions. And then again,
there are still talks about some of the match tickets that are still unsold till this particular time.
I mean, when you look at the price
of the tickets, yes.
The price is just absurd.
I saw a comparison and I'd be like, are you kidding me?
It's just absurd. But then again, you look at the United States of America, everything is all about business for them.
Yeah.
I think the only place they don't do business is when it comes to terrorism and security. They don't joke with those ones. But when it comes to sport, they try as much as possible to make money off it. And I've been reading their Airbnb going from $100 a night to over $1,000 in a
night. You're going to
stay
there for like 2 days, 3 days.
Train going from $50 going over $150 to $200 just because the World Cup. But then again, I understand that it's just simple economics that is happening here. You ask, a classic 100-level economics, factors that determine price, season, weather, all of these things are what determines price. So price would always go up. You are expecting numbers.
Yeah.
And
huge
numbers of people coming into the country to watch the football game. So definitely they want to make the biggest profit they can make. But what would be a shocker for them is when those numbers don't show up in the United States of America and they show up in Canada and Mexico. So that is what is going to shock them at the end of the day. So I think the first 1 week of the tournament will give us a clearer picture of what is going to happen, at this World Cup. If the numbers, they don't get the numbers that they are expecting, I think the prices of some of these things will drop at the end of the day.
All right, plenty of thoughts coming from the FIFA World Cup, and let me remind you once again that all through the 1 month that I'll be spending for the FIFA World Cup, we'll be having a World Cup show special right here on Empire Radio 102.1 FM. We'll be running at about the same time from 10 a.m. Down to 10:45 every morning to keep you abreast of the latest happenings of football right there in Canada, USA, and also Mexico, all through the period of the World Cup. You want to make it a day to us on your number one urban lifestyle station. Let's wrap things up with talks about some of the players who, of course, a couple of concerns about them. The likes of Lionel Messi, who the Argentina manager Lionel Scaloni has confirmed will feature in the friendly before the World Cup, but there are plenty of talks that maybe he's not just at his best yet. And there's also talks about Neymar Jr. as well, who the coach of the Brazilian side, Carlo Ancelotti, has also said they will be, according to the MRI scan, it shows that it's progressing positively for the World Cup. Just to mention a few players, yesterday, a couple of days, like 2 days ago now, we also saw that Christian Eriksen also collapsed, but he's come out yesterday to say he's fine. But a lot of fans are saying maybe it's just time for Christian Eriksen to call it a time on his playing career.
I think it's
4 years.
So God gave you a second chance. Now He has given you
the third one.
The third one. Don't test God, my friend. Just retire. I think he will retire at the end of the day. If his family, if they really love him,
they have to force him to.
They have to force him to retire. He's over 30. He has played. He has played a lot of games. He has played for some of the biggest
clubs.
He played for Inter Milan, Tottenham Hotspur,
Manchester United,
Brentford. So I think it's that time that he leaves the game before the game leaves him. Yeah. I think it's that time he leaves the game. And also for Lionel Messi and Neymar Jr., if they are not going to be fit for the World Cup, they would have been dropped already. And in the case of Messi, he's going to play. But will he be at 100% level for the country, well, that is left to be seen. But hey, we are expecting an entertaining World Cup. We are expecting an entertaining World Cup. And talking about Neymar, he would have been replaced if they were not expecting him to be fit. He would have been replaced. I mean, Wesley got injured for Brazil, was replaced by Ederson. So I think Neymar would have been replaced. Though I'm still wondering the impact he's going to make at the World Cup. I'm trying to wrap my head around it, but I can't see beyond the fact that he just went there
to make up the numbers.
It's just Neymar to make up the numbers. He just went there. But then again, if he happens to influence a game for them, and that game takes them to the next round, I think Brazil will be fine with it.
All right.
They will be fine with it.
All right. Sporting together. The Sporting Jiffy will return tomorrow from 10 a.m. down to the flip side of 10 once again, and the Sports Talk Show tomorrow evening between 6 p.m. down to 7 p.m. here on Impact Radio 102.1 FM. Where by tomorrow we'll be taking a look at the preview of the matches that will be happening. Do you think that South Africa will be able to do one against Mexico in the opening game of the FIFA World Cup? That's a big question that needs a lot of answers from every one of us out there, especially the football enthusiasts. I already Jajibo is signing out this morning on behalf of our Danish